After the last weekend, you have to say that the Six Nations is alive and kicking. It was absolutely amazing just to watch the drama unfold. And I'm going to look at these games in reverse, but before we get to the games, there was really something that felt a little one-sided about the Six Nations over the last couple of years. But this year, it is almost like the Premier League. You never know who's going to win. And it's such an up and down tournament the whole time. So yes, France might be out front a bit, but there's still a little bit of anxiety when these games happen. And you do feel at any given moment that the results might just swing in a different direction. So let's have a look at a couple of the games. If we start with the France and Italy clash, when you look at the final score, you won't think it was a hotly contested one at all. Don't get me wrong, France were good. And I do think 33-8 isn't exceptionally far from a good reflection of how the game went. But it's a little bit over the top. France absolutely picked apart Italy in the first half an hour. When they were up 9-0 at the 30th minute, you would have thought, okay, that was the game. They're done. But then Italy started clawing back. They got it to 19-8, and they kept it at that score for roughly the next half an hour. When they got to about the 70th minute, then there were the two tries by the French, and it just showed that the French slowly but surely worked through their paces, and they actually performed very similar, I think, in many ways to the great All Black team of 2011, 2015. The team at that time would just pace themselves, they would keep their composure, and they'd be able to put away teams at will. This is exactly what France did on the weekend. You have to, however, give a lot of credit to Italy, because if you look at the style of play that they put together, it was very attacking, it was very good on defense, and overall they were fairly dominant on the scrum side as well as at rucks. After a while, France were able to figure things out, and they were able to start picking off a couple of lineouts, and they were able to really come back in the phases fairly successfully. So, but all credit to France. I think they're in a really good spot at the moment. See, and this is my rugby assistant. He really helps to get the videos done as best as you possibly can. I can't imagine you need better help than that. Second up was the game that I actually enjoyed the most out of the lot, and that was the Wales-Scotland game. When you have a look at it and you have a look at this at the lineup of these two teams and what has happened in recent past, you always didn't want to watch it. You thought it was just going to be a one-sided Scottish affair. And when I spoke about this last week, I really hoped that the Wales team would be able to take their 20-minute good performance and up it to 30 minutes. However, they more than doubled that. I think they were great actually for about 60 or 70 minutes. In those last 20 minutes roughly, there were moments where they lost their concentration. The quick kickoff from Finn Russell that got them the extra try that just swung the game. And if they had concentrated on that kickoff and just defended it as they normally would, I believe it would have still been a Wales win. Sadly, Wales weren't able to turn that around, and you feel that it was actually a great escape by Scotland. So all credit to them. They did well to actually get that done, and for them to fight back from being down that much and end with a win, credit to Scotland. Actually puts them in a very interesting position as well going into the final weeks of the Six Nations. Now the England-Ireland game, that is the one where I don't think many people gave Ireland a chance to actually pull off a win, much less put England to bed in the way that they did. And I really liked the way that Will Greenwood approached his analysis of the game afterwards. He's always so level-headed about the way that he looks at all games, and I especially appreciate his insights into the English team in particular. He actually had a video clip where he talked about watching the game on the day, then just re-watching it a little later, then watching it from an attacking point of view and from a defensive point of view, and just seeing that they were completely dismantled. For me and for Borthwick, I think that is a very worrying sign. And it was mentioned in the 23 World Cup by Bongiwe Mbonambi that it is plastic energy that you often see from the English team. They look like they're all worked up and fired up, but they can't back it up. And that is something that they need to figure out. There's something missing, some bit of chemistry missing there. Because if you have a look at the athletes that they've got and you have a look at the rugby that they can play, they are absolutely phenomenal. You wouldn't think that there would be anybody that would actually be able to beat them in the Six Nations. You would have thought it would have been a close run one with France. It could go either way between the two teams. And if you look at it, they're actually not in prime position on the log. Let's shift our focus a little bit to Ireland. The Ireland performance that we saw over the weekend was something that you haven't seen for a couple of months. I think maybe last year in the Six Nations was the last time that we saw a performance as good as this. Because honestly, it was just a step up that I didn't think was possible. I thought it would still have taken a couple of games and they probably would have only gotten around to that with the mid-year tours. But it was an absolutely amazing performance. And you have to credit them for the way they got back to the really well-disciplined approach to rugby. The way that they have been meticulous over the years, when Joe Schmidt ran them and now with Farrell at the helm, they've turned into probably the most well-oiled rugby machine out there. A lot of teams can learn from the discipline that they've got in their team. And I think Farrell said it really well, where on the England side, it was the opposite. The Irish team really respected each other. They stood up for each other on the day, they fought together, and as a team, they were able to get the result. The same way as a really understrength Welsh team came close, this Ireland team got back to their winning ways, and they did it in style. So it was exceptionally impressive in my opinion. Now, as the log stands, you would think it's all over and it's going to be France taking it with a smile. But we're in week 4 of the final. So with the first fixture that we've got coming up in a week's time, we'll have Ireland up against Wales. The way Ireland performed, if they keep up that standard, they should win without a problem. If they falter again and they a little off their game, Wales are improving at a steady pace, and they just might come up with a little bit of a shocker. The second game will, however, be a very interesting one, because that is going to determine what team goes into the final weekend, potentially at the top. Scotland will be playing France, and what gives Scotland a chance to actually pull off an upset is they're playing at Murrayfield. And if they take anything from their comeback performance against Wales, hopefully that is something that they can then build on with a bit more consistency against France. The last game of next weekend is going to be an interesting one as well, because you've got a wounded England playing against Ireland. Now, when you've got a wounded England, they might do one of two things. They might really step it up and they can be absolutely brilliant. They've shown that in the past. They have been very resilient. They have been a different beast under Bothwick, and I think that they might just absolutely kill the Italians. But in the past, they've also imploded when that has happened. So they might overcompensate, and as they overcompensate, they might be prone to a lot more mistakes on the day. With Italy steadily improving year after year in their Six Nations and becoming more of a disciplined outfit, being really exceptional at ruck time especially, and then being solid in the scrums, with a little bit of work that needs to be done during lineouts, they might just pull off a bit of a shocker there. And that is going to be amazing if you actually see Italy coming away with a win. But that is all down to next week. We'll talk about it a little more in a discussion next week. But for now, it has just been interesting to see the Six Nations actually coming alive again. Loving it. I hope that we see amazing fixtures next week. And it was just an amazing weekend of enjoying rugby the way that it should have been played. A lot of drama, lots of ups and downs, lots of interesting ways to have a look at it, lots of insights that you can gather from it. So let's see.